Welcome back. Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. We have Dave, aka Crypto Awesome. How are you doing, man?
Fantastic. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's been a long time coming. We were gonna do a live stream in the past or whatever, but kind of every road leads to this point right now, and it's been
Definitely.
a quite a crazy ride since when we first originally talked to now.
Man, crypto moves so fast, and Titan X just moves so fast. It's like a month seems kind of like a year or something. Like it goes so quick. It's like, oh, that was a while ago, and it was literally like 2 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago or something like
Yeah.
that. Sometimes you're like, whoa. But
Yeah, and it's part of the being so in tune with kind of what's going on currently in Titan X now is pretty hard. But crypto in general just moves incredibly so fast. And, just like when you first mentioned you were going to release this project till now, it's been on calendar. It felt like a long time, but in real life, it didn't feel like that. It's been that long.
right, and we've only mentioned it. We mentioned it after the Flux launch. Like, so literally it's like that didn't happen that long ago.
Right.
That we had a release date and stuff, but it's like, yeah, man, I mean, we were holding it back until then because but we were still really close at that time too, but we didn't want, oh, no, we didn't announce it until Inferno ended the mint. That's what we were waiting for. We waited for the last cycle of Inferno, and then I basically announced that we had AwesomeX was the project coming, and then I announced that we have a launch date after Flux, and I announced that we're going to announce the launch date as soon as we hit 1,000 in the Telegram.
Yeah, awesome. Well, if you guys are watching this right now, get in the Telegram. It is pinned to this video on YouTube. And if you're watching on Twitter, go to my YouTube. It's pinned there. And obviously, everything is on titanxhub.com. So if you are want to get in there, just tap in there. And, sooner we get 1,000 people in there, sooner we will have the launch date. So if there's any clues you can give the people, by all means, give them to them now. But if you want to wait till then,
clue is, guys, definitely before 369, well before 369. It is imminent. The launch is imminent. We do have a launch date. So what we're doing right now is we're just trying to hit it hard, making sure we got a good group of people in the Telegram right now. And there's 15,000 people with Titan X. There's 2,000 people with Dragon X. So I think we can get 1,000 people in the Telegram. I'm not waiting for 1,000 people to launch necessarily. We already have our launch date, but I'm waiting for the 1,000 people to reveal the launch date. But it is imminent. I can also say that we are not going to be launching in September. So I don't want to step on Volt or anything. We want to make sure that Volt has their launch because I'm really excited about Volt. And so there's a couple clues for you.
yeah, I think that's good clues. I mean, at the end of the day, right? People are looking for any type of upper hand they can, but at the end of the day, right? Just get in the Telegram, and sooner we hit that 1,000 number, soon we'll know the launch date. And I think
we will let you know the launch date before we launch. You will have some notice. So say I know we can rally the troops. I don't want to drop the goal. I know we can rally the troops. But we will announce the launch date. If for some reason I can't see that we wouldn't hit the 1,000. But if we don't, and we're about to launch, I will absolutely let people know. For sure. I don't want people to, it's not going to be a stealth launch. You guys are going to have some notice, but it's more for fun. We're doing this for fun, to build some hype, to, just rally the troops, get everybody kind of pushing it out there. And I'm going to hit it hard with streams too. I've been out. I literally have not checked any of the Titan X Hub today. I've been posting as much as I could before I left to go. I was on a tech scout today with a whole crew. I thought I was going to try to stream with Eric, but then that didn't work. I'm like, I'm just hitting it hard. Like, I will sleep, but no rest till 2026.
Right. Yeah, right. I love that, man. Yeah, and it seems a very possible thing to get done, right? I mean, 1,000 people. We have 15,000 people holding tight necks right now. So as long as you get a piece of that, right, I think it's healthy, right, for these telegrams to be plentiful before releases too, especially so
Yeah,
you don't get scammed or
yeah,
random links on Twitter come up and stuff.
definitely.
It's very important to get in these telegrams and make sure you have the right links, because I mean we've already seen stuff happened to people's wallets, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's really tough to see. So
Right.
get in
Yeah,
that telegram.
be very careful with where you go with the Telegram. I'm not going to DM you. If you DM me, like, we could talk, but about AwesomeX, I'm not going to DM you. We're going to put all the information in the Telegram and on X. And in the Telegram is good because actually, you could ask me on X or whatever questions you got, but in the Telegram, we got the whole team's in there. And I do answer every single question. Like, there sometimes people really need a little bit of clarity on certain things in whatever their question is. A lot of the questions that need clarity is, how is this hyper deflationary, even though you're going to mint forever, which I get it. It's something that is a valid question. So guys, it's not FUD. If you come in there and you ask a hard question, I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. And if the project's not for you, it's not for you. That's all good too. But also for this, I do day one is definitely by far the best mint rate, but don't feel the need to FOMO. I mean, I'm just saying that to be realistic and honest with you guys. Like, we have a great mint ratio. We don't even hit 1-to-1 for 37 weeks. We're above 1-to-1 for 37 weeks. So we don't even hit the first halving until the first 25 weeks. We go from 2.8-to-1 on week one, which is like epic. And then 25 weeks later, we're at 1.4-to-1. So we're still above 1-to-1. But then after week 37, now we start to drop beneath that 1-to-1. And that's really when starts getting real expensive. But literally, there's multiplication happening up front. And I really like that personally. I modeled that kind of off Titan X, because in the beginning of Titan X, you got 8 million per day for mining. And it was a real steep curve. It's like a ski slope going down there.
Yep.
And we're like halfway down, and it's less than 4 million a day right now. And we're only a year in. So Titan X basically already halved, and more. So we have basically 2 halvings a year on top of that Titan X halving in relation to Titan X.
Right.
Because every 25 weeks, so 52 weeks a year, 25 weeks gives you basically 2 a year approximately. So it gets real expensive, man, over time. I mean, I'm like, dude, we're testing it, and the cycles are moving quick through the cycles on our testing, and it starts getting expensive. And I'm like, man, this is fun. So, like, I guess if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. And what's up, LB and Stray Ox, Legend, and Utah Crypto? What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining. But yeah, what do you think? What do you got? What are you thinking? Do you have any questions or?
Yeah. I was going to ask you about the how aggressive you do have the inflation of this. It really seems like it's kind of like an upside down hockey stick, right? It rips really, and then it really tails off for the last so percent, and kind of a little bit less gradual than Titan X's, allocation of inflation. So just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on why you went so aggressive with that.
So inflation is something very fascinating that I've been really digging into, and I've been getting some revelations on it. And I actually got these revelations even after we built the mechanics. But why is Titan X inflationary at the beginning, but also hyperinflationary over time? So why is that the case? And the reason is the inflation happens because of deferred inflation. It's mining and staking. So inflation, this is why the chart gets kind of jagged in a chart, is because people mine, and then when they're done mining, maybe they're fed up, maybe they just dump it all. But you had to wait for the dump to happen. If it stakes, at the end of the stake, maybe you're fed up, or maybe you did good, but maybe you want to take profits, but now you're going to sell. But it's later. It doesn't happen right away. there is no mining or staking in this protocol. It's like so simple. It's basically Titan X. You mint on Friday, you claim on Saturday, and then if you want to dump your bag and claim your profit or try to recompound in, that's cool. Just be careful selling your bags in any BOT protocol, because with huge buy and burns, these buy and burns, it comes and eat them right up.
Yeah.
And so inflation is because of deferred mining and staking, but deferred inflation is. So inflation in Inferno, how did Inferno paint this freaking magnificently beautiful weekly chart?
Yep.
Without really, like when you look at the weekly, like there's up and downs if you look at the daily, but it's still all up. It's just up and downs to get up, more stair-steppy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to the weekly, no, it is literally like the most beautiful like curve. It looks like a mathematical formula made that chart, but it's like it literally wasn't. It was the community. What's up, Mo? Bad Sports. What's up? Hey, and Frosty Dog, dude, you guys are awesome. Yeah. So why is the Inferno chart like that? That's the question I've been asking myself, because that's when I mashed up the two powerhouses of Titan X. Inferno built on Dragon X. When I mashed those together, it's like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, even Dragon X chart, Dragon X's weekly chart looks amazing, but it's still not as perfect of a curve as you see Inferno. And why is that? Well, Dragon X it's been on the market a lot longer, and it's had a lot more time to do things. Plus, you have Hydra now and a few other things that are kind of really kicking in for burning it. So I think Inferno's chart will start not looking so perfect, because over time it'll probably have a few dips and a few different weeks
naturally
moving forward. But during the mint cycle of Inferno, why did it look? It literally, the weekly looks like the first 5 minutes of a altcoin, and then it looks like they would crash, right? But it's 10 weeks actually. Yep. So, but why does it look like that? It looks like that because the inflation is not deferred. The deflation is immediately built into the system. So you mint, you claim, and then after you claim, you can do whatever you want with it. You could hold it, you could compound it, you could sell it, but the buy and burn comes and eats it up if you sell it. And so the deflation was, the inflation was never, and Inferno was not hyper deflationary after the cap. Inferno was actually hyper deflationary from the start. That's actually why the chart looks like that. It just had a nice big blast off once it got capped, and now we have other protocols burning it.
Yep.
But Inferno's buy and burn will empty out at some point. So unless other protocols continue to add to it, which is a possibility too for protocols to add to I believe that's a possibility. Yeah, totally a possibility for other protocols to add to.
Yeah, it just sends an allocation to that address.
Right. So
that smart contract
totally
address.
Possible to do that and increase that. But if there wasn't protocols built on Inferno, which there are, and I love what they're doing. So AwesomeX is hyperdeflationary from the very beginning, even though it will not ever be a capped supply. And it's for perpetually minting. But we have a 2.8% drop every week, which basically means that in relation to Titan X, AwesomeX is 2.8% more expensive every single week in relation to Titan X. That is the deflationary part. So the deflationary, but because the inflation is immediately recognized the day after mints. The only time deferred inflation would happen is if people don't claim for a few weeks and then they go back and claim something. Well, then that'll, because there is no penalties for claiming in AwesomeX either. Like if you don't claim for 100 weeks, like you can go back and claim all your weeks. You will always have it. You will never lose it, which I like too. But so basically the hyperdeflation is built into the chart immediately because it gets more expensive every single day to mint in relation to Titan X, and deflation is immediately recognized into the chart instead of waiting months or years to release it and have people sell. So you can sell right away. And it's not an auction system.
Yep.
Like you don't have to like wonder how much you're getting at the end of this. Like you mint, and in day one, you get 2.8. So if you put 100 Titan X in, you get 280 AwesomeX out on day one. Like it's literally like, I'm excited about that because it's going to allow us early people to build some big bags. And a little thing. So Titan X is going to get very scarce over time, and it's going to be very expensive. So I want to have something to use AwesomeX for. Instead of so I want AwesomeX to become the currency that is able to be used in multiple protocols, instead of Titan X, which means if we want to build big bags of AwesomeX, we will have stuff to do with it. You could probably. I am going to personally hodl for a while with the AwesomeX that I meant. Until the new projects come out, because I can't mention what they are right now, but dude, like a white paper literally downloaded into my head 2 nights ago, and I threw it to the team, and I'm like, guys, take a look at this. And it's another banger, dude. It's like another banger, but it's built on AwesomeX, and the point of it is to not only benefit the whole Titan X ecosystem, which is what we're doing with the Dragon X Vault allocation here, along with the buy and burn and everything we're doing here. But it will also burn a crap ton of AwesomeX. And there's actually 2 projects right now we're in the talks with of basically building on top of AwesomeX at the moment. So those are going to happen. Those will most likely happen after 369 as far as launches for those. But AwesomeX is imminent. So guys, spread the word. Let's get this. The launch date is coming. I mean, we have the date, so it's coming. Just get in the Telegram, and you guys are doing a great job. I mean, where are we at? We're at 326 members in the Telegram right now. I mean, I have almost 1,000 subscribers on Crypto Awesome. So, I'm rallying my troops too, but it's like, but we're basically on par right now with the AwesomeX X account. So we're basically kind of rising on par, the numbers. So if you're in the AwesomeX, you're probably in the Telegram most likely. So let's rally the troops, guys. But did I answer your question, or did I just go
No, you definitely answered my question. And what I've always said, right? Because there's going to be a lot of how do I explain it? Like Titan X has a ton of projects being built onto it for one common goal: to support Titan X and obviously burn as much as we can, right? But what is more crazy is that it goes deeper, right? And the projects being built on the main projects that are built on top of Titan X is just creating a stronger main project. And that LP, when it's combining, it gets even stronger. And obviously, if one side goes up, the other side goes up. So it's like these small little niches within a niche, right? Like Titan X, Dragon X, AwesomeX, right? It just rolls in. It just gets Dragon X even more stronger, which helps and grows Titan X even more. So we're going to see a ton of projects being built on, not main ones, but sub ones, as well as other sub ones as well. So it's going to be insane, the amount of LPs and how they interact with each other.
I am so excited to see how all of that works together. I mean, and 369 is such a massive catalyst for our whole ecosystem that I'm like, what is going to happen? Like, even, after the vortex. So it might not be instant, guys. After the vortex, I'm learning not to fade anything, by the way. Any of these projects I'm into, I'm like, I'm not fading them. I'm not even compounding them into other protocols, because you don't know what's really going to happen. Like I did that. I faded a few and compounded into other protocols, and I chose the wrong one. At that time, I'm like, oh, that's okay. But anyways, there's another point about inflation I want to make. So people wonder, how is this hyper deflationary, even though it will mint forever? I think I explained it, but think about this. Titan X will mint forever. So how does Titan X become hyperdeflationary over time? It started hyperinflationary because all the miners started, and then all of that supply started coming out on the market at certain days, which was the hyperinflation part. But the reason it was hyperinflated at the beginning was because Jake built it so day one, early people could build big bags. And then if you got in early, you got a better deal. Every day, it's better to mint today than it is tomorrow. It says that in the white paper. And so so if you're wondering how AwesomeX is hyperdeflationary from the beginning, well, ask yourself, well, how is Titan X hyperdeflationary over time? It's because every day it gets more expensive and you can mine less every single day. That's the reason for hyperdeflation. And this is what we don't, it's really, really hard to wrap our minds around this because we were born almost into the matrix. We were born into hyperinflation. Every single day, our dollar, if you're in the United States or even everywhere in the world, really, like country currencies in general,
everywhere,
like your dollar is worth less every single day. And this is just how we think things are. You know, like a car now is 50 grand and it used to be $3,000 in like the 70s, dude. Like a Corvette was like 3 grand, brand new. It's like, wait, hold on. A house was like $8,000 in like the 70s, dude.
Yeah.
Like now it's like $500,000 for a shack. So why is that happening? It's happening because of hyperinflation in our actual currencies because there's no cap on how much these governments can print.
Yeah.
So when Jake built this system, this is why the Titan X white paper, and I will always say this, the Titan X white paper is as revolutionary as the Bitcoin white paper was when it came out. The Bitcoin white paper changed the whole system because it gave us digital currency.
Yep.
Now, and then Ethereum was pretty revolutionary, building on top of it for sure. But Titan X is equally as revolutionary as both of those, or more in one sense, because it builds because Ethereum, I mean, okay, they're burning a little bit, but like Ethereum is not hyperdeflationary. It's always going to,
and it never really will be.
And it never will be because it wasn't built that way.
Yep.
So, and Hex, Zen, I like them, but they're not hyperdeflationary. And people like, there's a big influencer posting about Pulse Chain. I don't have anything against Pulse Chain, but he's like putting this whole post together about like how amazing it is that Pulse Chain has burned 3% of their entire supply. I'm like, why are you like shouting about that? Like 3% of your entire supply? Like Titan X is burning like 56%.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then, you know, Inferno was 90. AwesomeX is 70. You know, Hydra is massive. So the buy and burns here add to the hyperdeflation. The buy and burns make it dangerous to sell your bags.
Yeah. Because
as soon as you sell your bags, those buy and burns don't care who you are. They will eat it up every single day. I think what was Eric saying on his post, $200,000 a day of Dragon X is being bought and burnt right now by Hydra.
Insane.
Insane, dude. We're about to blast off. And guys, when you look at these weekly charts, it's like, oh, it's too high. I can't buy. It's like, no. We're literally at the base of a mountain. Like it's like that, but we started climbing. But this is like the base, and like the peak is like up here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where that peak is, and I'm not gonna like give you predictions what I think it could be, but because my predictions are gonna sound like a moon boy, and I don't want to sound like that. It's not about that. It's about the math. That's actually why I have the predictions in my head. I'm not going to tell you my predictions, but why I'm all in. I don't recommend that for people unless you got a super high risk tolerance like I do. But I'm all in. Energy wise, I am also making a movie right now, so I got to be all in there too. But that's okay. You know, no rest till 2026, baby.
Yeah, seriously. What did Stray just said that, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I totally get it, man.
Sports. He just shilled this on all the on the stream and all the Titan X chats.
Oh, let's go.
Mellow Cryptic, you are amazing, dude. Stray Ox, you're awesome. So Hydra, you're saying burns 100%. That's I mean, ridiculous. TEDx, what's up, dude? TEDx has some cool stuff going on too, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really awesome. We had a good talk the other night. So I was on Mo's stream last night, and then Mo brought on TEDx, and then Mo had to go. So me and TEDx, literally after the stream, we were talking for like an hour, dude. It was almost like past midnight before we were done talking. I'm like, dude, it was like a super cool bonus. I had no expectations to like have a total another conversation, but it was great. And man, Ted, you're doing some great stuff, bro. So I'm totally in to help with whatever you need. I'm super excited about what you're doing. Yeah, baby. Bad Sports started it. He's the one that started saying no rest till 2026 because he's saying, yeah, no rest and little sleep. Exactly.
Yeah, little sleep. He's changed it up a little bit.
I'm definitely going to sleep, but when I'm awake, all in.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And this guy, Josh does not sleep all that often. I mean, like he said, can't believe he's up for this one, right? I mean, that's what, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. That's late to be listening to a stream, especially shilling it.
Oh yeah, dude, you're a beast, bro. Bad Sports, you're a beast.
Yeah,
I love it. And actually, you inspired me too. It's like you came out, hit it, and when you hit it hard. And so that's the same here, man. I mean, I'm all in and everything. And I didn't really, that's actually probably why we didn't really get to stream before. Because I was really just, I had my channel. I was talking about other people's projects on my channel. So now that I have a project that I'm like really involved in, I have something to say instead of just, I love doing my channel because I was interviewing all the founders early on, and I was getting tons of alpha because I was interviewing them before they would launch. And I was like,
yep.
Dude, I was loving that. And so it was teaching me a lot about what I wanted to do, what the ecosystem is, what we can even do, what are the possibilities here. And once you figure out that and you're a builder, it's like, oh, I mean, I'm never going to stop building now. I mean,
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have been talking to me in DMs and stuff that are making stuff. And, I know every single stream people talk about the projects that haven't been talked about that we're talking about releasing and stuff, right? A lot of different various people. And it's going to be insane to see where we're at, not only 2025, but come 2026, we are going to have incredibly so many projects being released because once people build something, they want to build something that helps that or build something that helps something else. And one thing I will say to your saying that Titan X had one of the most revolutionary white papers, I read that thing 13 14 times before it released, right? I'm not joking, word for word everything, because I just couldn't stop reading it. But the biggest thing was how fair these launches are, right? And every single protocol past Titan X has done a fair launch. And that is so untalked about, and just, because it's normal for us, right? It's normal for us to release this way. And it's part of a status quo that has completely changed from where it was, during other crypto and ICOs and whatnot during 2021, 2020, 2017, like those times. Like, this is so different and people take it for granted. And it's really crazy to see if an builder is making their own protocol, they got to get in day one, just like everybody else.
Definitely.
Yeah. And, my buddy was talking to me saying, like, if you make a project, like, let me get some. And I'm like, dude, I'm not getting any. I can't give anything to you.
Right. And we fund it. So it's like we're spending all the money to make it happen, and we're getting it on day one with other funds.
Yep.
So, and it's good. But see, I love fair launch now. I mean, as a participator into protocols, the only person I would participate in their protocol if they weren't doxxed is Mike Dean. If Mike Dean came out with a protocol, I would be in day one, even if he wasn't doxxed, because he's proven himself. But other than that, I won't do it anymore. I don't really like the stealth launch stuff. I do want a little bit of notice. And like I said, guys, we are going to give you notice. I mean, let's rally the troops and get the 1,000, because I don't want to have to lower the goal. Lowering the goal is so not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, not saying like you're going like, oh, let's go down to 750. It's like what it's
No, like come on, what we're talking about 750. It's like
yeah.
come on. I mean, if we lowered it I should have probably set it at 888 because that's probably a cooler number to kind of hit. But Mo told me that. And I was like, oh, dude, that was a great point. But but then I'd be lowering it anyway, and I don't like to lower it. I think we can make it happen, and I actually think we're gonna make it happen within probably the next week. Before the end of the month. That's actually my prediction, is that we're going to hit 1,000 in the Telegram before the end of the month. And then you guys are going to have a launch date, and you're going to have some prep to be able to, get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys weren't here in the beginning, he said definitely before day 369, but he needs 1,000 followers in that Telegram before he gives you an actual date. So,
and definitely I think not this month. Not in September.
Definitely not this month. So it's somewhere in the middle between that.
So we're gonna call it early October. I'm not gonna say late October. It's gonna be before 369, like for sure.
Yeah. So this is a great question from Josh. What's your opinion on undoxed founder that launches with Accelerate Team? Genuine question. This is I've actually thought about this myself and kind of what I think about it, but I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Accelerate stocks. So, I mean, in my opinion, if it is vetted by powerhouses who've already proven themselves and they believe in it enough to build it through Accelerate, I'm going to be in on that. I mean, I would prefer doxed for the whole team, but I would not be out if Accelerate did it. If it was just someone that came through and it wasn't Accelerate, I would not do it unless they were doxed, or unless they had proven themselves in some way, like Mike Dean already has, and earned all of our trust. I mean, Mike Dean, trust is not just freely given. Like love, freely given. Trust is earned, and it can be lost. And when you lose trust, it's really hard to get it back.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love everybody, but I reserve the right to trust based upon, trustworthiness, really. And I expect to be held to that same standard.
Yep. I agree. I think personally, if it's going through Accelerate, it is to some extent doxed. And at the very least, we know that they do a good job of coding everything. They do a good job of getting audits done, right? They do a great job of marketing and releasing and being as transparent as possible. And, at the end of the day, if Accelerate is putting something out from a community member, then it's kind of like he's just part of that team and he brought an idea to them. And obviously he'll get a piece of the Genesis or whoever the Genesis wallet goes to. So I'm okay with it. I personally think it's fine. And I think at a certain point, if you know it's going through Accelerate, you're like, okay, well, at the end of the day, we know what they do. We can look at the Genesis wallet, right? It doesn't have to be this mystery, right? Because it's all on the blockchain. So,
and it's all in the white paper. And if Accelerate's doing it, it is going to be in the white paper. Like it's going to be transparent and clear. And, we're talking about reputation. So it's like, when you look at the reputation that people have built in the system, Accelerate. I mean, I am so blessed to be working with Josh and Allie and the Accelerate team. Like it's literally like a dream come true. I couldn't have asked for a better team. They have already proven themselves with, Blaze being amazing and perfect and not having any issues. And then Inferno being amazing. And now Flux being amazing with some juicy 8-day payouts coming up. It's like stoked on that. But
I think Inferno woke a lot of people up. I really do. And, it's funny that it's Inferno Flames, this and that, right? But it really sparked people's minds and saying like, oh crap, we can just put something simple out, very simple. It doesn't have to be crazy complicated for there to be not only utility, but the use of your Titan X and other various things. And it just shows like, hey, we are growing, and every single project that these people put out, and obviously other people as well in the protocols, it just shows that we're really onto something. And it's been a blessing to have these guys part of the community. And the early on kind of builder oriented marketing that we were doing back in the beginning, it really shows that we did bring builders in, and they're staying in here, which is really sweet.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, we like I think Josh was just saying, we would probably act as the public faces for such a protocol, because I do think there has to be a face marketing it. I don't think a logo marketing a protocol would work in our ecosystem. So there would have to be a front person that was involved in the project. And if it was a front person that we already knew and had already proven themselves, then all right, that would help. I mean, that's fine for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's very, very just different and cool what we have going on here and how we treat launches, right? Because all 2021, 2020 bull market, right? You see something move, it has a cool thing, and has any type of following in a Telegram. You're like, all right, I'm gonna put money in it, see if I can make money at it, right? And now it's like, okay, if we don't even know who you are or have a white paper or put a face to it,
juice.
You're not getting anything. And it shows people in the beginning were trying to quote unquote leech off of TitanX, and those people got shunned and banished immediately, right? If your white paper wasn't up to code, right, or it wasn't good enough, right, we'd let you know. And some people got out because they knew we couldn't game the system, right? We couldn't get one over on you guys, right? So,
and we're all getting smart. We're building a smart community who's learning about security and learning not to trust these people that just DM you with the different names. I actually got one the other day from the Crypty Windy-O or whatever. From the I don't know, Windy-O or something like that. But anyways, it wasn't her. It was in my DMs like, hey, dude, I like your project. And it was like they added another character in her name. I'm like, guys, people are associated. We just got to be vigilant and understand, don't trust anybody unless they've earned it, especially in crypto. Yep. It's like, and unless they're doxed, it's like, you can't, if someone says, trust me, I ain't trust like, you don't say, trust me. You be trustworthy.
Yep.
That's it. It's actions that prove it.
Yeah. 100%. And, I think a lot of the founders really do take that to heart, and it shows. It really does.
Yeah. And I'm just, if Accelerate, plus when Accelerate builds with teams, Accelerate builds with the TitanX ethos, like locked LPs, forever. I actually had in the original white paper, I had an 88-year lock, and Ali's like, what? Why not just go forever? Like, why'd you put 88 years? I was like, oh, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, right. Let's do forever. Yeah. Like, yeah, good point. Let's not do that. Yeah, I was using all the numbers, right? And I'm just like, but it's a good point. But now forever is actually a sideways 8, right? So it's the infinity symbol, so it still is an 8.
Yeah, which is all cyclical. I love it.
Right.
Yeah, man. It is truly awesome, and I know a lot of people are building. Right. And people are really taking these things to heart, and these kind of lessons and milestones and commandments, if you will, on how to release projects. And we have 10 or 11 on TitanX Hub that are going to release, as well as AwesomeX, plus the many, many, many ones that we don't know yet. And I know a lot of people are building. So
a lot of people are building, and a lot of people are building behind the scenes. That's actually one of the things I also like about what's going on right now is people, now we can tease, but people are not saying we're launching yet until they're ready to say that.
Yep.
So we're not like having the teasing actually being like, well, it's not even close to ready. We haven't even hired devs, we're just starting. It's like, it's really like the people that are talking about their projects, they're waiting. They're building first. They're making sure everything's going to work. They're getting really far through the process, probably even almost to the first audit before they start talking about the project.
Right.
And I really like that too. I know early in the ecosystem, we had a couple projects really super great on marketing. They were hyping the crowd. I was excited about them, but then it's like, well, they weren't even ready. They shouldn't have been marketing yet. It was not time because they didn't even know how to actually accomplish what they wanted to do. So they obviously didn't happen. And it's a good thing. So we got Felix asking a question here. Any plans to curb the sandwich MEV bot on your buy and burn? Yes. AwesomeX is going to be bulletproof against the MEV bot. We've learned, my team learned from Inferno. And so the couple things why that happened was because it was a fully decentralized buy and burn, and there wasn't any adjustments that could have been made, really. So the decentralization is really good in a way, but sometimes it's like, oof, like I wish we had like a little control over something, not to extract anything, but like to control something. So two things. First thing, it was a 30-minute, it was buy and burn every 30 minutes. And the buy and burn on Saturdays and Sundays are massive. So every 30 minutes, it was burning like $6,000-$7,000 or more, and the fee, the reward fee was really getting high and a little. And this is actually why the MEV bots started coming in, because it was so juicy for them and they're quick. So then they had to figure out how to handle that because they didn't have any controls. So what we've done is increased the interval as the step one, increasing the interval from every 30 minutes to every 7.5 minutes, which means we have 192 intervals every day, which is nice too, because if you're sitting there, now if you're sitting behind your computer waiting to click the button, like you only have to wait 7.5 minutes actually, and it kind of keeps coming around pretty quickly. And we still have the escalating buy and burns just like Inferno, because that was just such a beautiful masterpiece of an idea. The economic or the mechanics behind the buy and burn of Inferno. When I read that part, I'm like, wow, this isn't just a normal buy and burn. There's like mechanics here.
Yep.
And I loved it. So we did adjust it a little bit, but it's the same style as that. But so we increased the intervals. And the other thing we did was we added an admin fee, but not fee, an admin key only for slippage and for value cap adjustment. So what this allows us to do is if the buy and burn becomes like millions of dollars and that reward gets a little too, now we cannot extract from the buy and burn. We cannot change any of the parameters of the buy and burn. When it's launched, it's launched. That's how it's going to stay forever. The only thing we can do is if an MEV bot ever figures out a way to get in, we can turn it down to where it becomes non-profitable for them and they will move on. So, but I don't even think it's ever going to get there because we increase our intervals. So we are basically bulletproof against any MEV bot attacks on AwesomeX.
And we love that. Yeah. Because
I love that too. I'm like, yeah, we have to be.
Yeah.
But Josh knew that. I mean, we all knew that. And so they're so smart on that team. They got all these people running around doing all these smart things. And but yeah, no, this is literally bulletproof. And actually Eric made sure of it. We talked, he made sure of that. This is the reason we're getting endorsed by Eric, is because we have done this the right way. Audits are coming back great. The testing is coming back great. Everything's looking amazing and it's working really good. So yeah, exactly. We should never even have to use that admin function, but it's there in case the buy and burn turns into like a $20 million buy and burn and somehow they figure out how to do it. But it's literally bulletproof. So that's really what I love about it, and I'm confident in saying that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and a lot of things and new projects that are coming out are learning from the past mistakes or whatever I don't want to call them mistakes, right? But just trials and tribulations that other projects have gone through, right? Yeah. And especially since you're building off of an idea, right? And making something more tailored towards what you think is the best version of it, right? And another person will come along and do the same thing, right? So it's just building and growing and figuring out what's going to work not only for you, but what didn't work as well as what you thought it could work,
Right.
and I think it's really just this forever growing kind of ecosystem we really are building.
And even though that happened, I mean, yeah, it would have burned more Inferno if that maybe, but even though the chart is the most beautiful chart I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I've literally never, ever seen a chart like that. Even with the MEV bot attacks, it is like the most gorgeous, beautiful weekly chart.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
like,
amazing.
I mean, beautiful women are awesome and all, but this chart is gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see your weekly minting cycles, right? Go and I don't know if they're going to have the same flow of Inferno because it's a longer period, right? But in essence, everything will be rolling just how it did, right? And what blew my mind is people. Obviously, we were a little more bullish on the whole ecosystem at large, closer to the end of Inferno's release and during their mint phases. But it would just blow my mind. Okay, I think this many Titan X is going to go into Inferno, and then boom, there's way more, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, the mint ratio is so much lower. Like, no one's going to want to do it. It's dropped. It's less, right? It's negative. But then as the week went on, it got more profitable to do it. And then another mint phase happened, and it was just like, I cannot believe it did that for 8 straight weeks.
It did not stop doing that. That last week mint cycle was a little bit tougher because of the reduced ratio down to 65%. So it wasn't as, and then it's like to try to compound that, you're actually getting a pretty hefty LP fee when you do your trade. If you're trying to compound, if you don't calculate in the fee of trading, trying to compound that way, you're actually going to end up with less Inferno if you don't do the calculations right. Even at like a real, because it actually, that last cycle even went up to a 15% during the mint cycle.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, that's juicy. But then I actually did some ratio numbers and I looked at the fee out of the LP. I'm like, man, I'm literally, this is a bad move. If I try to compound any of this, I want to make more Inferno if I do a move like this. Otherwise, I'm just hodling. So yeah, it just reminds me, go in harder day one. I mean, like, day one is the day, but then that's why I like AwesomeX personally, because it's like day one is a good day. It's the best day, but it's still a really good day on week 2 and a really good day on week 3 and like week 4, week 5, week 6, all the way. I mean, really for the first 12 weeks, like it is over 2 to 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and seeing different various projects and having a auction style or just day intervals of new coins coming out every single day, right? We see that early dump in the beginning, and then slowly as it happens, it rises a little bit, dumps a little bit, right? And I'm interested to see, right, through these weeks, right? We have a full week of when your AwesomeX is released, right? That mint cycle happens, that full week, that's as much inflation or circulating supply that there's going to be all week.
Right. That's it.
Right? And inevitably people are going to hold it, sell it, whatever the case may be. And, it's pretty wild to think that's such a long mint cycle plus every week. It's like, hey, this is what it is this week. We don't even know what's going to happen next week.
Right. And then when a couple other protocols come on time, and this is why also the Launchpad is very, very cool, because now we can fund projects that'll benefit the whole Titan X ecosystem and the AwesomeX ecosystem, and a community member or someone that it has the right ethos of what we're doing. We are obviously going to be extremely selective on the projects that we choose to fund through the Launchpad, but there are a lot of people with some amazing ideas, and as long as we can get those ideas flushed out, now they can be paid for, to be funded, to be created, which I really think that's just amazing, because the economic energy that will be recycled into the system by a Launchpad is X is higher than the amount of economic energy that would be taking 3.5% and adding it to a 70% buy and burn. Now it's a 73.5% buy and burn. Like, that's not going to do much difference comparatively to a protocol that will burn the crap out of it.
Yep. Yeah. And this is one of those things that it's like, you having this Launchpad idea and programmed into AwesomeX is so different than everything else everybody has done in TitanX so far. So it's going to be an interesting experiment, right, of what could be possible through something like this. And obviously, in the beginning, just like every cryptocurrency, right, and project, it starts off a little slow, right, and you slowly are building, right, and we see, right, we're not even a year old in TitanX, and we saw what it can do within 1 year, right? And we're expecting these projects being released to do everything TitanX has done in a week, right? A couple days, right? People have such short mind when it comes to that. So it's going to be interesting to see, instead of allocating a certain percentage towards a buy and burn or a rehothification or whatever, right? Goes into new projects specifically designed to not only help AwesomeX, but TitanX in a whole.
And now those are the two goals of the Launchpad. It has to benefit the TitanX ecosystem as a whole. It must. And it also must benefit AwesomeX as the whole. So in Bad Sports just says, yeah, exactly. Because you could add on 10 protocols with the Launchpad for a small percent removed from the buy and burn. It's like a great trade-off. I mean, yeah, exactly. We could launch 10 protocols that are all buying and burning it instead of just adding the 3.5% extra to the buy, because 70% is like massive. Plus, we're not burning 70% every week. We're burning 43% every week. So it's actually filling up faster than it's burning. And that allows it to roll over into the next weeks and continue the buy and burn to continually compound. So during a perpetual system, say there are a handful of weeks, as it gets really expensive, that people aren't minting. There might be some times that there's no minting happening and there's no added inflation coming onto the chart in certain weeks in the future, possibly. Well, the buy and burn's still buying and burning. I mean, if there's a whole bunch of weeks, like when it gets really expensive, the buy and burn is still burning. So it's like, I don't think it's ever going to nobody's going to mint in a cycle, but it might have very small participation in some of the really expensive weeks, possibly because TitanX is going to be expensive too. But we'll see. I mean, but if it's painting green candles, I mean, best marketing is green candle marketing. If we can make mechanics, and we're pairing with Dragon X, this is the mind-blowing part, because actually we have very different mechanics than Hydra, but Jake was talking about the benefit of inputting Titan X and being paired with Dragon X. That's what we're doing too. We have we're a much simpler protocol. Hydra has so many different things going on, and they have deferred inflation. Yep. They have mining, but there is no staking. So that's interesting. But it's the same thing here. It's like using Titan X to mint paired with Dragon X. What does that mean, really? What does that really mean? And I think it is going to shock us what that means. I think we're going to be very shocked as to what that means. So, I mean, not financial advice, but don't fade AwesomeX, because it's a powerhouse. You look at the two charts next to each other, the Dragon X chart and the Inferno chart weekly next to each other. Like, I'm like, I'm so bullish, and you could tell how bullish I am, obviously, because I'm pumped. But yeah,
hey, I am too. Trust me. And when the math's this hard. Right. And I've always been a math science kind of driven person in my life. And when the math really starts, like when you can have a actual view of the future, what could possibly be happening, plus what you think could be the end goal, it really it freaks me out sometimes, because it math's way too crazy. Right.
I know. That's why I don't want to talk about predictions, because I'll sound like a moon boy. Because my actual predictions that are in my head, you guys don't want to hear them. You guys will think I'm nuts. Yeah. But you probably won't think I'm nuts if you actually know what we're talking about. You probably would agree with me, potentially. But also, I don't know. I'm not a time traveler.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, right? How I view it is this world, like you were saying earlier, right, has a hyperinflating currency or just inflating currency, right? Whatever the case may be. And we have all of these systems growing and thriving and year over year making more money, right? In the world in general. We're doing that exact same thing, but with a hyper deflationary product that everybody had the chance to get in on all of these projects day one, right? It's no people before you, this and that, right? We have so much deflation and so much utility and so many projects going to be released that it's unfathomable what could possibly happen when you're using it as a hyper deflationary asset versus a hyperinflationary aspect
Right.
asset. And it really, when you really start thinking about it, it is unwalked territory, and it's the possibilities are endless. Truly,
Right.
it's
You got
nuts.
super chat. You got a
Yeah.
super chat from Bad Sports. That's awesome, dude. Thanks.
Oh, let's go. Shout out Inferno on Dragon X equals AwesomeX. Yeah, shout out Josh, man. I appreciate the super chat. I don't get them very often, so when I do, it's amazing, man. I appreciate it very much. It's gonna be. I'm really interested to see these minting ratios that you have from the beginning to when they go positive in the beginning to neutral to deflating. Right, it's obviously deflating from the beginning, but 2.8 to 1 to begin with first week is insane.
Right, which is interesting too, because when we're pairing with Dragon X is 20 to 1 already.
Yep.
And so it's like being 2.8 to 1, there still might be a parity shift. There's still might actually be there might be some good percentages in arbitraging there potentially. I mean, I don't know, but we're going to find out. I'm really excited about the experiment of what we're doing, because I mean, mashing up two powerhouse protocols together, the mechanics of Inferno with a little changes to the freaking power of Dragon X. I think it's going to blow minds.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Strayox. Yeah, definitely read the white paper, guys. Strayox says that read the white paper. It's awesome. I appreciate that coming from you. I'm extremely honored for you to say that. So thank you so much. But yeah, and exactly. So Strayox, 35x higher is hard coded. So the actual math of AwesomeX is we start at 2.8 to 1. The last decrease of minting 2.8% each week for 125 weeks. It actually, when it ends, it's 0.08 AwesomeX for one Titan X, and that's at the end of 2.4 years. So what is Titan X going to be worth at that time? I don't know, but it's going to take 12 AwesomeX just to mint one, or 12 Titan X to mint one AwesomeX at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And AwesomeX is going to be so expensive, but that is a 35x price floor increase of AwesomeX over that time in relation to Titan X. And Titan X is programmed for 55,000x when you do look at the white paper for the math. So this is actually, you might say, oh, 35x, oh, whatever, I'm looking for thousands X's. But that's 35x on top of what Titan X in relation to Titan X.
Right.
And Titan X is related to ETH. So the 55,000x is Titan X related to the cost of ETH, or basically ETH in general. So when it costs 55,000x more at the end of the lifespan for what Jake built compared to ETH that it did in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where the deflation happens, is it costs more. I mean, we're building the community. The community is growing, and the community is really the reason. And adoption is really going to be what really blows us up. Because how do we do if we wanted to try to do the 1000x or whatever? I mean, it's programmed in the code, but it's programmed in the code over multiple years.
Right.
How do we achieve that this cycle? Well, 15,000 people in the ecosystem. A 10x on that is 150,000 people in the ecosystem. The amount of economic energy that is going to be in our ecosystem by the time the community 10x's is going to be insane. I mean, that might be 100 or 1,000x right there, just because the community increased 10x. But if, say, the community increases 20x, that's 300,000 people. But there are big communities out there of people that they're not really doing, the coins aren't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like the XRP army is huge, massive, right? They've been around for massive mini cycles. I mean, I was in it. I mean, now I'm like all the way out, but like I'll probably get back in, you know, at the top of the market. But you know, but anyways, yeah. So, what is it? Yeah. Anyways,
we can run through some comments and stuff like that real quick. Yeah, TEDx. Most importantly, to date, the eco has established standards and that are proving a clear message to anyone who wants to build should go into expecting a through review from multiple resources. Yeah, people really run you if your white paper is not up to par, right? I mean, they will be like, "Hey, man, no one's going to support this. Don't even release this."
Good point, TEDx, because actually I remember too on the spaces, I mean, Plan A was adamant and Mike Dean, because basically build on Titan X protocols must be able to be scrutinized. Yep. They must be able to be scrutinized by the community. And if it's not able to be, this is why stealth launches are not on the hub. They won't be on the hub because it's not part of the ethos of the actual build on Titan X full ethos. Because that nobody, yeah, you don't have time to figure out what you want to do before you do it. And there are insiders at that point. Yep. When you do stealth launches, there are probably a few people, one or two. Even if they're doxed after, the stealth launch still isn't a fair launch.
Right.
Fair launch gives you a little bit of notice. So, but yeah, I mean, I love this ecosystem, but yeah, Plan A was like, we have to be scrutinized by the community.
Yeah.
If you're not scrutinized if you can't take the scrutiny and you can't be scrutinized by the community, and your white paper can't like actually either it's not understandable or it's too confusing or it won't work. You know, if you can't take that criticism and answer the questions, I mean, nobody's going to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Let's see. He said, TEDx, okay, I missed it, but what is the story with the hat?
Dude, so I love the hat, bro.
This is, right? Oh, you can't really see it, but it says Titan X upside down. And, you know, I just made it, right? And I don't know if I should sell them or whatever the case may be. I'm sure someone's going to steal the design at a certain point. But, yeah, it's like old Western.
So cool, dude.
Kind of looks like bones. But I'll be releasing some things. Some people don't know, but I used to make clothes from scratch like a while ago. And I used to sell them or whatever the case may be. This was when I was in college, right out of college. And so I've always liked designing. Like I designed this.
Oh, sweet.
The Unintelligent Fudro Records. It's got a Bitcoin guy as the face. Yeah, so I like releasing things and releasing clothes and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to be putting something together. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I just think it'd be cool for the ecosystem and just kind of some visual stuff at the very least at the end of the day, if nothing sells.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I just ordered some AwesomeX hats, and I have those You're Awesome shirts. I love the You're Awesome shirts because when I wear them, not only am I telling everybody around me that they're awesome, and actually I've never gotten as many comments on shirts as the You're Awesome shirts. Like when I wear that, everybody's like, "No, bro, you're awesome." I'm like, "You're awesome, dude." You know, it's really great. It's a great conversation starter in public, and it says AwesomeX on the back. And then I got these hats. I bought like 3 different kinds of hats. I'm trying some different printers and some different, like if it's going to be stitched or if it's going to be printed on there, just so we can kind of see. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I want to wear it. And also I can do giveaways of those things on the channel too. I think not just giving away AwesomeX as giveaways. I can give away, some merch for some winners and stuff like that and just mail it to them. Like I think it's Marco. Is he the one that makes the hats? Those other. Yep. Yeah. So did you make that hat or did you like design it and then have a printer do it?
Yeah, I have a buddy that does this kind of stuff. So I
Oh,
just
cool.
designed it and gave it to him. And so this is called a bubble print. So it's kind of extruding off of it. It's not flat, so
Oh,
it's kind of a little bit raised. But yeah. So I like making stuff, and I usually stitch different things and whatnot. But printing wise, I always have never been able to do it perfect. So I just get people to do it. It always looks it always looks better.
no, you're right. I mean, that's the thing. I hire the experts too now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, might as well.
Yeah. And
I don't
one
have
of one
time to do
clothing.
stuff like that either.
Yeah. One of one clothing is different than
Yeah.
trying to produce like 10, 15, 20 of these or whatever the case may be. So
Good
you
point.
can make one of one look good always, but mass produce is tough.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
I got some ideas that I'm playing with and different various things that I may or may not do. But I think in the next month / end of this year, there's going to be a lot of different things I'm going to be doing, hopefully. So I'm really, really excited. It's going to be not only with Titan X. Titan X is amazing, right? But the community, I cannot talk about this enough. The guys and people that we talk to within the community, everybody is so cool and just awesome, no pun intended, right? I mean, people really do just enjoy talking about this stuff and game planning for the future and what we possibly could do. So to your point about scrutiny of different white papers and stuff like that, all of us, if we're saying something, care, and we do want the best product. If you are going to release a product, people really do want the best for not only your product but Titan X as well.
Definitely. And I do too. Like when we're in Titan X, we do too. All of us, any participate in any protocol, we want these protocols to want to burn Titan X. We want these protocols to want to follow the ethos. We want the protocols to and the people behind the protocols to dox themselves. We do want this. We didn't know we wanted it before we knew about Titan X.
Yep.
We didn't realize we needed this stuff because it wasn't a thing yet. It was, well, I got to say, though, Jack Levin does have a fair launch principle ethos. So
it's like we said on the spaces, right? It's been picked different little various pieces of other ecosystems and projects. So to your point, right? It's building and it's different.
It's different. It's the best of the stuff that's out there with a whole bunch of additional innovation.
Yep.
It's like, I'll take the best part of this and the best part of this and then innovate on top of that.
Yep.
And really, that's what I'm doing with AwesomeX is we're taking the two best. I mean, I don't mean to put anybody down in the ecosystem. I love all the projects. I'm in basically all of them. But in my opinion, Inferno and Dragon X are my favorite protocols in the system. And boom, putting them together is going to explode.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, bro, you are a monster. Thank you so much for being here, brother. I love you, man. It's so good to work with you, and have a good night. And yeah, I'm gonna try to go to sleep after this, but I'm pumped.
Yeah. So Stray says, looks like on week 60, AwesomeX goes parabolic according to the graph.
Week 60. Yeah, cool. I mean, and you were right. I saw the other comment about there's 5 halvings. So yeah, total in AwesomeX. And then after that, the Titan X just keeps getting more expensive. And I mean, whatever happened to Dragon X, I mean, Hydra is burning $200,000 worth of Dragon X right now. I mean, we got to get this thing launched, man, because it's like Dragon X is about to blast.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's with price potential of certain things, it's like people are going to be less willing to give as many coins as they have, right? And we got to get out of this thought of how many Titan X you're getting, because every single day that passes there's less Titan X, right? Obviously there's inflation, this various different things, but every day that passes there's less Titan X, and people are putting more Titan X in other products and projects, right? And this is a forever growing thing. And issue, I've made a video about it, right? It actually is an issue that you don't have enough Titan X. There isn't enough Titan X, right? It's just, no matter how much you think about it, with this many projects coming out, there's no way that there's enough Titan X.
And this is why I want people to be able to use AwesomeX as a currency. So if you build some early big bags, I want that. I want this because I want to participate in. I'm doing what I want to do, right? I'm doing it for everybody.
Yep.
But I want to be able to not have to use Titan X to participate. I want to be able to use my Titan X to participate right now in the protocols like this. But when Titan X gets really expensive, I'm going to want to have a different currency that's still built on Titan X to be able to use to get into other protocols with.
Yep.
As the fuel for the protocol. So,
yep.
I mean, that's why it would be really good to hodl all the AwesomeX that you get, and do play whatever game you want to play. But I mean, not financial advice, but I mean, the good thing about hodling is that we're building on top of this, and there will be fuel. Right now, I'm finding it hard to sell my Inferno. Like, I don't even want to play the ratio game with Inferno. I don't want to play with Dragon X. I got a little bit of Dragon X left that I didn't fade in hybrids, but I'm not playing the ratio game like with Dragon X. It's like 20-1. I'm not going to do that. Like,
yeah,
I think that ratio can be way more. And I mean, whether or not it is 20-1 is amazing ratio, but right. I'm not taking it. I'm not selling my Dragon X or my Inferno. I'm not going to trade that either. I'm not fading either of those.
Yeah. Anymore. Yeah. It's tough when you know what could be done with projects being built on one another, and just it's like we kind of see where everything is going and funneling towards right now. And it's just cool to see more projects on the launch on Titan X Hub, more projects being talked about, right? And just seeing all of these things being built. And, my theory is people are going to go into a lot of projects early with only Titan X, right? But there's going to be projects that are like, hey, you could do any of them, right? You could mint with Titan X, Dragon X, Inferno, Flux, Blaze, right? You could mint with all of them, right? So a lot of projects in the future are going to have to do that if they want a lot of economic energy, right? And right. It's going to make it a little difficult with LPs and burns and conversions between the two, and I leave it for those people going to deal with that. But it's going to be insane to see not only ethos with projects built on top of projects, but it's going to just make certain things heavier than other things and lighter than other things. It's going to be,
yeah, exactly. And there's going to be, I mean, really so much economic energy in this system. Like, there already is, but I mean, it's going to be a lot more. And yeah, a lot of people, I mean, how do we participate right now? We got to buy more Titan X off the market. It's not profitable in mine yet. So it's like, we're buying off the market to participate. I am. Yep. I'm like, if I'm not selling my bags, that means I got to put more fiat into the system. I got to go find some fiat. Like, I'm down being completely broke in the real world, dude. I'm good with that. I don't even care. Like, I just need a burger once in a while, right. Like, maybe a beer once a week or something, right. But like, I want to eat it. Health. You know what? I did learn about health, guys. If you want not that I need to talk about this, but copper water bottles are literally the best vessel to drink out of. I've been trying to find the best water vessel to drink out of. Because glass is good too. This is a tangent, I'm sorry, but glass is good too, but glass does not impart anything positive into the water. It's just very clean. But what I found out about stainless steel, unless you get 18.8, there's like heavy metal labels on the stainless steel unless you're getting the 18.8. I'm like, wait, stainless steel, like heavy metals, that doesn't, come on, guys. Like, right. I think stainless steel was like clean, but it's not always clean. And I don't trust these big companies anymore. But copper actually restructures the water. I mean, I'm kind of almost probably a conspiracy theorist like many of you, but I wonder, why did they take copper pipes out of houses? Is it just because it's easier to roll PEX in the house? Probably, to one degree. But copper in houses structures your water as it flows through the walls. And then when you drink water out of here, it restructures the water. And one of the reasons we go gray is because we have a copper deficiency in our body. So actually drinking water out of copper imparts positive things in the water and does not give anything negative out of the in the water. Just a little tangent, but
yeah, you'll see me in the next week or two with the copper water bottle,
and it tastes great out of the copper too. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's interesting because it looks like users are buying off market to participate in the new projects, and I've caught myself doing it. Right, I've bought off market, and the cool thing is to get in a lot of these new projects that are being released. You have to go through a certain cycle of coins, right? You have to take your ETH, get into TitanX, and get into AwesomeX, right? There's these little sections you have to do, and it all benefits TitanX at the end of the day.
Whoa! I was just gonna go to TitanX Hub to like check out the price of that, just because. Yeah,
seeing the update,
dude, it is like epic. Like it looks totally different and awesome, bro. We got Titan Farms on there now.
Yeah, I brought it up just so everybody can see.
Projects, and there's launch projects. Whoa, Mike Dean, dude, good job. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
It's got an ecosystem market cap. An ecosystem market cap. That's amazing. So it's going to add up all the market caps of all the ecosystem tokens. It's got the total TitanX burn, ecosystem volume,
and I like how it's going to be able to slide and get more on this bar.
Oh, it slides. Wow.
And it has the ETH price at the bottom, which is great.
What do you mean the ETH price at the bottom?
So right under ecosystem volume, it has the ETH price, and the day 24-hour change.
Oh my goodness. Mike Dean, bravo, bro.
Yeah, this is only the beginning. Mike Dean is a beast. He really is a beast.
Whoa. All right, Mike Dean coin.
Yeah, I'm buying it. I'm going to be a whale in Mike Dean coin.
Day one, whatever. Wow. I even forgot what I was doing. Well, what I was doing was I was saying that buying off the market, dude, like 1 ETH gets you like 3 billion?
I think it's about 3 billion.
3 billion for 1 ETH. I mean, guys, it's already getting expensive to buy TitanX off the market.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about not billions in the future owning, right? It's like, okay, if you got 500 million or 200 million TitanX, is that enough, right? At a certain point, that really is what it's going to be.
Good point, dude. We're not going to talk in the billions because it's going to cost 1 ETH to mine 800 TitanX a day at the hyper part of the deflation before it stabilizes.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you leave people to their natural instincts, right, is to be doing something, is to get into something, it's to make you think like, okay, I'm building, I'm earning, right, this and that. So throughout all of these projects being released, right, although the main goal is to buy and burn everything, right, but people are going to have less and less and less TitanX and put into these projects, and they use that to burn it, right? They use it to burn TitanX, their coin, whatever the case may be. But people are going to have less TitanX, right? At a certain point, every day that passes, everybody has less TitanX. And it's going to be scary when it comes down to this mad amount of projects coming out. And you really got to think like, okay, can I use more TitanX, or do I need to buy more TitanX to use it? And every day.
You know how much TitanX you will be able to mine for 1 ETH at max hyper deflation? 224,000.
Wow. That's
insane. It's going to cost 1 ETH to buy 224,000 to mine 224,000 TitanX when it's fully deflated.
Wow. That's insane.
It's insane. That's $250,000 for 1 ETH.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
And what is ETH going to be at that time? Is ETH going to be 20K? 50K?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, 10K even? It's like 10K divided by 224,000. Let's see what that is. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say the number because it's like a Moon Boy number.
Yeah.
Like you can't even say that number.
It's gross.
And that's
why I didn't answer it.
ETH.
That's why I didn't answer it.
Yeah, bro. At 10, I mean, if it's 20, 30, 40, $50,000 ETH, I mean, it's going to be, so expensive for one Titan X.
Yeah.
Like it won't even make any sense. We will be legends. We will be legends for being here at the very beginning. Like, I'm not day one, but I'm day early. I'm 67. I wish I was.
It's still very early.
Still very early. I mean, we were all still very early before 369. Yep. All of us.
Yeah. And on top of that, right, a lot of people were here when these prices, right, you could get a billion Titan X for $100, basically, right? And everybody, so many people faded it week after week after week, right? And to a certain extent, I could be, myself, right, and say, hey, I did too, right? I bought some. I definitely bought some, but I definitely could have bought more, right? I could have went way harder. And it's one of those things that if you were here during any of those days, right, you had a chance to pack your bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these coins coming out, right, these are those days, right? Right now are those days in a lot of projects. And it's just to see where they end up is uneven imaginable.
Yeah, I do think we have an opportunity to see a $10,000 ETH this cycle personally.
Yep.
I think that's a reasonable blast off number for ETH, but still, that's only 4x for ETH. Right. I mean, 4x is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but but that's 4x. ETH doesn't have 100x potential this cycle. Right. Neither does Bitcoin. Bitcoin maybe 3x.
Maybe.
Maybe XRP, maybe 10x. Maybe.
That's maybe what the $5 XRP $5 basically.
10x, yeah, right. That would be 50 cents to $5.
Yep.
So okay, that's great. I mean, goodness, that's amazing. But that's 10x. Now, I don't get me wrong. This 10x is great, but we're spoiled being in the Titan X ecosystem because the 77x's already have happened.
Yep.
Dragon X is already, I think, 20x from where it was the bottom. I mean, it's just getting started too. So the potential for dropping 3 zeros is there in Titan X for the core coin, which means if the core coin drops 3 zeros, we're going to see a lot of drop in zeros for the other protocols. But I think there's a potential to gobble up some more. I mean, who knows? But I think there was a good video by Wreck to Riches where he was talking about, during the peak of the bull market, we'll hit whatever we hit. But then, we are going to enter the bear again. But when we enter the bear, we're not going to probably maybe we drop 50% of that and then another 50% of that and then another 50% of that. But when you do those numbers, it's most likely not going to ever drop back to 6 zeros.
It's be very, very difficult, and I hate to use Hex as an example, right? But it went up to 50%, right? Went up to 50%, even split economic energy between. And the lowest we really saw was like 2 zeros, like 1, right? So it didn't go back to 6 zeros. It didn't go back to 5 or even 4.
It didn't start at 6 though. Hex started at like 5 zeros maybe.
Yeah, it started at 5.
Yeah, and then it went to 50 cents, right? It was like insane. And then when it dropped back down, it didn't go back to 5 zeros. It went back to 2 zeros.
Yep.
So it's like, well, I mean, sucks for the people that were staked and couldn't get out. But their bags are still more than when they put them in.
Yep.
Maybe not for everybody.
Yeah. That's why when I was dealing with it, I definitely have stakes 5, 5, 5, 5, right? All the way. But I also only did 5% of my whole bag, right? I was like, I want to be exposed long-term, but I don't want to be all of it in. And that's what I did with Titan X, right? I was like, let me just put some in there, right? Let me just put some in there. Whatever the payout's cool. Inevitably, if it's only to hold for that whole length and get them at the end and just saying like, hey, back in 2023, I put these in there and now, in 2030, whatever, right? This is what they became, right? At least I'll have that. And, so I do a little bit of both. I like to obviously hold a ton liquid, but I still have some staked.
Yeah. It's even going to be hard to it's going to be hard to get fully. My plan is to get liquid like mid next year, but that's going to be hard to get liquid in this stuff.
Yep.
I don't really know if I'm actually. My plan, I think, is shifting. In fact, instead of getting liquid in some of this stuff, I think I'm going to be, LPing some of my liquid stuff.
Shout out Stray.
Exactly. Stray's opening my eyes. And Johnny Papavega and Mike Dean, all three of them are powerhouses when it comes to, the LPs. And so, but yeah, Stray is blowing my mind. And I just think that he's right when he's the crypto holders who resist selling their assets despite market volatility always end up winning long-term. And I'm a long-term guy. I hate my XRP just sitting there right now. It's like, it was just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. And it's been doing absolutely nothing with everybody hyping it. The whole XRP army does not stop hyping it, but that doesn't do anything for it. And they beat the SEC. It's the only cryptocurrency with regulatory clarity, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yet. Maybe it'll matter in the future. Maybe it will. And I probably will, because if I do think there's a lot of really cool stuff they're doing, but it's not hyper deflationary.
Right.
And if maybe all the world's money runs through it, okay, cool. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's hype. It could be hype too. So, I do see I do know that the banks probably would not, the centralized system would not probably adopt a currency unless it was federally approved or regulated somehow, or legal or something. Yeah. But so that kind of does make sense, that maybe it does take banks a long time to kind of, get their act together. But it might not even be this cycle. It could be, but it might not even be.
Right.
And we are at the base of a mountain with Titan X. Like, we are at the right place at the right time, like, by far.
Yep. And at the end of the day, right, we have seen the lows, the very lows, and felt the very lows, right? But there's going to be other lows that people have hit, right, that we hit, that we're like, hey, everybody, this isn't a great accumulation zone, right? Just like today and yesterday have been, right? Been a little bit of sell-offs, right, over everything. I think it's very healthy to have sell-offs within the ecosystem. And with Titan X hitting a little sell-off, right, I can't help it but to get a little bit. I got to buy a little bit, right? And so I like.
It's a good idea. I mean, so how, when you buy it, are you bringing fiat into the system to buy it with?
Yeah.
And then you're getting ETH, and then you're buying Titan X off the market. Yeah, me too. Like, that's the only way to get it. Yeah. How else? Or we do a protocol where we can mine it, or if you stake Helios, you could get rewards in Titan X. You get hyper rewards by staking hyper. There is no staking in Hydra. But now Flux, are the staking rewards are paying out in Titan X, I think, in Flux.
Yeah.
So there's a couple other staking protocols now that can pay you out in Titan X, which is cool, actually. Very cool, because that's going to be a huge value moving forward in the future, having some staking, unless a benevolent whale comes in and stakes like Dragon X did to the staking protocol of Titan X, which is possible.
Yep. So staking,
probably not my favorite, maybe early staking, but once I stake, I'm staked, and I'm good. I'm always doing max. If I do mines or stakes, I'm always maxing it. Yep. I don't want to reduce my economic energy at all.
Yep.
But I'm okay with knowing that those stakes are locked for longer than my my current cycle plan, because I'm actually a long-term guy. I'm not short-term. I don't really want to trade every day behind the computer. That's why I like AwesomeX, because it's gonna make Fridays great again, baby. It's like, you gotta set my alarm on Friday, boom, mint, hit a couple buttons, come back Saturday, and Saturday is gonna be great too. Like, boop, 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 claim the money, and then it's like, all right, now I can do whatever I want with it. Immediately.
Yep.
I mean, it satisfies my ADD, you know. Like,
right.
But I also love the mining, and mining is probably my other favorite thing to do. because that's how you maximize. That's really how you maximize what you're doing. But you never know, because even the mining ratios can go down by the time you claim. So I had a 4-to-1 ratio when I first mined my Helios, and when I claimed it, it was negative. Not like I'm gonna sell it. I'm hodling what I got now. I'm learning my lessons, because Helios is gonna have its day. When it has its day, it's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah, and we talked about this on the spaces, right? It's coming at everything at a little bit different of an angle, right? It's really casting a broad net and growing an ecosystem around it through various other ones, and obviously one's built on top of Helios as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of these projects have untapped potential that we're only seeing the beginning of, and we have a ton of projects coming out that we're viewing at the same thing, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen, because it's unfathomable. It really is. And I can't say it enough how unwalked territory we are in right now. Right now this has never been done in crypto, period.
No, you're right.
Let alone in Titan-X, right? I mean, it
let
is
alone
truly,
in the history of currency in general. In any kind of currency, we have not had this. Everything has always been inflationary or capped, but never hyper deflationary. I mean, the good stuff has been capped, but see, Bitcoin, whether it's not really capped, it's still being mined, but it is ultimately capped at the 21 million, but it's not fully released, and it's still adding inflation every year. But there's nothing like this. There's nothing like this.
Yeah. And the white paper, like we were just saying, has a ton of different little pieces from everything. But one thing that we have that none other project have is this community. Truly, right? This is the only thing that has not came with all of the other tokenomics of it, right? Because each individual thing that is built before Titan-X that we took a little piece of here and there, their community is not even remotely close to our community. It really isn't. We couldn't be more different than the norm across all of crypto.
Good point. And I really love how, like, Jake's demeanor, he's brilliant, obviously, but and you could tell it when he talks. I mean, you could tell it when you read the white paper, but I like what he's all about, because he's about working. He's about busting his butt. He's about doing things right. He's about supporting his community. Same with Eric. I mean, it's like, they're not, I mean, yeah, hey, you know what? Get a nice car. Cool. But it's like, once you have a nice car, like, how many of those do you need? Like, it's like, all right, get a steak, every day if you want to. Porterhouse, like Wagyu, like do whatever. Like at some point, like, how much money do you need? Like, are we gonna Lambo it up? And like, maybe some people want to do that, but I don't need to do that. I want a horse ranch. I was like, I'll take not a horse. I want a cattle ranch with some Wagyu beef. Actually, that's really what I want. Organic Wagyu beef, bro.
That'd be sweet.
That's really that's my ultimate alchemy.
Really, really get it from Japan, like actual Wagyu, not American Wagyu.
I have a supplier that does in Texas that has a couple. They have a whole herd of Wagyu that have their papers now. Wagyu has some, you got to make sure you're getting the right breeding kind of stock, but and a lot of Wagyu is fed. They're force fed a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like, I don't need to do that part about it. Their genetics are actually nice and fatty everywhere. So
already, I
wonder what a grass fed Wagyu would be. Probably not as fatty as the big corn fed ones. But if I'm doing corn fed, I need organic corn without Roundup on it. So it's like, there's a whole bunch of ways to do things right. And I really do care about that kind of stuff, because I don't want to be eating poison every single day. And they put poison in everything. There's literally more chemicals in a large McDonald's fry in the United States than in a pack of cigarettes. You would get less chemicals in your body if you smoked a whole pack of cigarettes than if you ate a large McDonald's fries. Like, how is this even legal? Like, we can't obviously they don't earn our trust. They don't deserve it.
Right. And they're asking for it.
And it's addicting. That's the thing. They add addictive. It's like everybody talks about Chick-fil-A. Oh, they're a Christian company. It's like, guys, they're adding 46 chemicals into the meat to make it addictive. This is not chicken. It's actually drugs. Everybody's eating these drugs in this delicious food. They make it taste delicious. But it's like, an actual chicken eating organic feed tastes delicious.
Right. Tastes amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think
X coming soon. Exactly, dude.
I love that. That's going to be the first project in your build on AwesomeX.
Wagyu X. Yeah, well, that's another bull, right?
Yep.
It's like a fat bull, dude. Yeah, dude, like a chunky bull, dude.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I don't think I'm gonna be. I'm not the type of Lambo guy, right? I'm not. I've already went through my phase of like fashion and expensive things and whatnot like a while ago. I'm already past all that. All I want is no debt, somewhere to fish every day, right? And hang out with my girl. And that's all, I'm good. After that, right? Maybe a puppy, maybe some land to run around, right? That's really all I want.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, I'm okay with waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting until that happens, right? Because life keeps going and I try to enjoy it every day. And that's, you know, I don't do YouTube all the time because I just do other things, right?
Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter all the time because I do other things, right? And but when I do come back and when I do have these conversations with you and other people and stuff, it's just so inviting, right? And I think a lot of people, it's going to be interesting to see not only people from this stage, but also people how they grow throughout all of this projects and releases and throughout all this, because, you know, at the end of the day, we all are growing day by day with each other, as well as all of these projects.
Yeah. And the builders are not going to stop building. We can't. I mean, like Jake said, like, you know, that's what builders do. Like, we can't stop building. I mean, whether it's building a house or building a cryptocurrency protocol, like, we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop making movies. I'm not going to stop building my homestead. I'm not going to stop buying land. I'm not going to stop building these projects anymore because now I started. It's like once you get started, it's like, oh, when you realize the possibilities and then you start understanding certain things, downloads happen.
Yep.
Luck comes to those who are prepared. Like, we get more lucky if we're prepared, right? And we have become prepared, and we didn't sell during the dark times. We did not. I mean, I did fade, but I faded into Titan protocols.
Right.
I didn't like sell and get out and be like, oh, it's over. Like, because I couldn't, because the white paper got in my head. Yep. And I could not get out of I'm like, I still believe in it. I still believe in it. I'm not going to be an evangelist right now because I could be wrong, but like, I still believe in it.
Yeah.
And I've never stopped believing in Titan X from the day I watched the Joe Perry's video.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, I had the, you know, blessing to interview Jake before Titan X released. So I've been day one. And what'd you say?
I said, sweet.
Yeah. So I randomly, and this is just how the world works, right? I haven't made a YouTube video in God knows how long. I'm barely on Twitter as it is now, let alone back then. And I just randomly messaged Jake and I was like, hey man, love your content. Kind of carried me through the bear market, you know, just want to say what's up, you know, something like that. And then he's like, funny you messaged me. I have this releasing in a couple weeks or whatever the case may be. And he was like, just kind of want to hear your thoughts. So I just was reading the white paper and I was just like, holy crap. I was like, and you don't have, I was talking to Jake. I was like, you don't have any allocation for yourself. He's like, I'm getting in day one like everybody else is. And I'm like, that is wild. It truly is wild.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I've just been lucky enough to not only for him to explain it to me, but also just to read the white paper alone. And it just shows that this is through times, right? From that time through all of the dark ages that we did see, it was hard not to fade stuff sometimes, right? The market sentiment and in general crypto in a whole, right? It was a different time than it is right now. And so it's like, you want to beat yourself up because it was right in front of your face, right? And trust me, we all could have put more money in, right? Some people definitely packed their bags, but it's cool to see not only where we were, but where we're going now, especially with all these projects released.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man,
we're on fire, bro. This ecosystem is just, I am so thankful.
Yep.
To be here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I've been a part of other communities that you're not even real, right? It's like you're just another wallet.
How I felt in the XRP army, actually. It's like I have my XRP, I'm watching these guys and doing their streams. And then when I wanted to do my crypto channel, I came up with the idea of Crypto Awesome before I knew about Titan X. But I never had done a video on the channel until I read the white paper. I'm like, oh crap, here we go. But I was like, I don't want to do I'm not going to want my channel to be about XRP. Like I didn't actually want that. Like everybody, there's enough people doing that. And also, do I want to evangelize something that I'm like not actually sure about? Like I don't really know what's going on. So no, I don't. I love the fair launch. The fair launch is like the best.
Yep.
And the white paper being clear, just locked LPs, just everything about what we do here and burning just this. I didn't understand burning either before Titan X. In fact, I heard the Cardano dude, Hoskinson, say something like, well, why would we want to burn the tokens? Nobody wants their money burned. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm like, but then when you look at the economics of it, it's scarcity is important. It's it's a foundational economic factor. Scarcity versus price. Like they're automatically related.
Yep.
In like a basic economic textbook.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously burning does help. And we're seeing it now. Now we're starting to see it work.
Yep.
Which is really cool and exciting. And Joe didn't ask for sacks or nothing. Nobody asked for sacks. Nobody asked for founders just funded. Founders funded their own projects. Didn't ask the community fund it. I love that. It's like we take a risk on something and hey, we gotta work for our bags, dude. It's like we gotta market. But that's what I love about X too. It's like all we gotta do is post. We just gotta keep posting.
It's insane.
I know. And say cool, interesting stuff and repost other people's cool, interesting. This is how the community builds and grows, because this is actually what I actually feel like I have so many friends in this community. I never met anybody yet. Oh, I did meet somebody though. I actually met a Titan in Tennessee for a beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's more. We got to do more of those, but
yeah. And I think, this year stream, the 1 year anniversary that's coming up, I think it's going to be a really cool, everybody kind of get together. The chats are going to go crazy. The presentation is going to go crazy. A lot of people are going to be talking and stuff like that. And my guess / prediction is second anniversary is going to be in person. That's my guess. That second anniversary of the 2 year anniversary for Titan X will be in person somewhere. I have no idea where. We're all across the world, so I don't know where it could be.
Well, we're all going to be loaded, so it's not going to matter.
Right.
We're going to have the Titan X jet. I don't know who's going to. Stray Ox probably going to have one of those. Well, maybe I don't know how flashy he is, but But I did post that post because Mackenzie's amazing, and she obviously just had a loss in her life. So our thoughts and prayers go out to you.
Absolutely.
I was going to say something funny, and then I remembered that. But she did post that picture of the Mediterranean house, and I was trying to be funny before I realized that. But I was like, yeah, party at Mackenzie's Mediterranean house after 2026. But exactly. And I think that it's going to be so amazing to meet everybody and like hang out with everybody. And I was talking to because I think it was Steve DeFi and what's his name that came up with the Titan Party thing recently. There's a Titan Party Telegram right now, and it's talking about the 2025 party in October somewhere in the world. And I was like, well, we should actually do an NFT for that, and then either sell the NFT or give the NFT to people with Titan X or any Titan X protocols. And that would be our ticket into the protocol. So it actually is an exclusive party, but you have to have the NFT to enter the party. And then there's something to that, I think, but
yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, just kind of how like Bored Ape Yacht Club did it, right? I mean, if you didn't have the 8, then you're not coming in, you know.
Exactly. Something like that, right? I think
Mhm.
that would make it very cool. And because it should be exclusive, because we're going to be in this ride this whole time.
Yep.
And I can't wait to meet everybody. I mean, but ultimately we're doing it right now. We have communication means to be able to talk like this. And you're in your house, I'm in my Airbnb, wherever.
Right.
I'm at. But yeah, man, thank you so much, dude. Oh, Spain. Nice. All right. Michigan. Hey, thanks, guys. It's like, this is amazing. Absolutely. We got Spain, we got Michigan, we got Tennessee, we got South Carolina, North Carolina, something like that. Something like that. Anyways, we got West Virginia, we got East Coast, we got Mo in California. You know, we're all over the whole world.
Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna find a spot. I think it's gonna be very cool. I think we're gonna have a giant party, whether it's over a whole week, right? Over a weekend. I don't know what the case may be. It's gonna have different parameters, I'm sure. Whether it's a 1-day party, but everybody's actually staying at the same hotel, or
1 day. We're gonna travel somewhere into the world. We gotta do like at least a week.
Yeah. I completely agree. And it's gonna be insane. I really am pumped.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, is there anything else you want to cover? I think we hit on a lot of great stuff tonight.
We did. So thanks everybody for joining. I want to say I just appreciate every one of you for joining and tuning in and supporting, Smooth and Crypto, the actual OG, because he interviewed Jake before Titan X launched, dude. That's amazing. And then also just join the Telegram. AwesomeX wins. We've had a few extra members join while we've been on the stream. So thanks. You guys are amazing. Ask your questions. We are going to answer every single one of them. Don't think it's FUD. If you have a hard question, I just want to say that. Feel free to ask your question, even if it seems like a hard question. If you really don't understand it, and I will do my best to explain to you my views and thoughts on it in the Telegram. I mean, we haven't really had anybody FUD. In fact, there was someone that, asked some hard questions, and I'm like, this is my response. This is how I see it. And, hey, it might not be for you to do this, and that's okay.
Right.
I mean, I don't want anybody to get into this protocol if they don't want to be in it. Like, don't do it. Do what you want to do. Do you. That's why we're building. That's why I'm building this, because I like it. Right. I want to do it. And I think a lot of people are going to want to do it too. So I think we're going to be hitting 333 in the Telegram right now.
Let's go.
Awesome. All right, baby. Under 700 to go. We got like 667 to go to get that. And that's totally doable in a week, guys. We could do that. We're getting like, 20. I wake up in the morning and it's like more too, because you guys are doing a great job. You guys are pushing it out there on X. And you guys are pumped about it. I'm pumped about it. And we're going to reveal the launch date, but the launch date is imminent. It's imminent.
It's imminent. Hey, everybody, if you're not following or in that Telegram, get in the Telegram. It is linked in my YouTube. And so when this video comes out, I will repost everything and put all the links and stuff on Twitter. If anybody sees this, go on titanxhub.com. Fresh new facelift. It looks amazing. And get in there. All the links are certified and good. It is no spam, no nefarious, nothing, right? Titan X Hub is safe for everybody in the community, just like all of these safe, fair launches. It's really awesome. So, Dave, I appreciate you for coming out, right? Talking. I did not expect us to go almost 2 hours. But,
I know.
Our conversations are great, right? We had a great spaces the other day, and today we had a great stream. So I know.
It's easy to talk to you, man. You're awesome. I do appreciate everything you do, and your voice is so valuable to this community. So thanks for doing what you do too.
I appreciate that, man. Yours as well. And I'm sure you're going to come back on before the release of AwesomeX, and you can come on anytime afterwards, right?
Sounds great.
Random days, just like my spaces, I'll just randomly pop on, right? And if I'm ever live streaming and you just want to come, just hit my DM or anything, and just jump on, man. I'm fully relaxed, and it's all good to do whatever, right? And I think just having more conversations is the most important thing in this ecosystem and in life in general.
Yep, definitely. And tomorrow I'm streaming with Rudy about Legends and AwesomeX. Because actually, I'll give you guys a little alpha right now at the very end of this stream, but I'm talking to Rudy about doing an AwesomeX hybrid right now. And we're going to put it on the Legends marketplace. I am so excited I love hybrids so much.
This is getting clipped.
I'll get you guys more information on that soon, but we're in the early stages of combos on that, but I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. It's awesome. Hey, drop a little alpha nugget right at the end. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, this has been an amazing live stream. Thank you, Dave. Be on the lookout for Crypto Awesome on Twitter, right? AwesomeX is releasing soon. 1,000 people in the Telegram. He will release the date of its release. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Dave, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely. All right. This has been Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. Till next time. Peace.